Today's episode is brought to you by MRC, a branding studio hailing out of Raleigh, North Carolina, where they focus on crafting killer design work for clients that love uber creative solutions for companies small and large. You can find and connect with them online at mrcraleigh.com. That's MRCRALEIGH, and at MRC Raleigh on Instagram. The good news is, if you find yourself reaching out, you'll most likely get to chat with yours truly. That's right, it's my little branding co, and we're here to make your brand or idea look amazing. So let's connect.
I made a goal to paint everything in the city in 5 years, and I did it in 3, and I want to keep painting. I just want to paint everything. That's all I want to do. Just put my head down and paint.
Recorded at the Kitchen Studios. This is the Pencil Pushers Podcast.
Welcome, folks, to another episode of the Pencil Pushers Podcast, and I'm your humble host, Mike Rosado. Today, we speak with my good friend and go-to creative partner for all signs hand-painted, Joseph Giampino. Joseph is what one might call a blue-collar artist, a sign painter that gets the call for virtually every new hot retail shop, restaurant, brewery, and more. Hand-painted signs have been around for millennia, reaching its heights during the industrial age, but had a steep decline with the advent of vinyl lettering, causing the near death of one of the great artistic trades. Joseph is one of the artists that have felt a deep and profound passion for the storied craft, and it shows in his stellar work around the state of North Carolina. We talk about what it takes to make it as a commercial sign painter, the history of the craft internationally, and how he used his talents to contribute to the powerful street art that was born out of the tragedy of George Floyd's death. Do yourself a favor, head over to Instagram and find him at Special Signs. That's at SPCL Signs, while you sit back, relax, and enjoy our chat with Joseph. All right, we have special guest, and special signs here with us. Joseph Giampino, how are you, sir?
I'm good. What's happening?
Not much, man. Good to finally have you here. We've been trying to hook you in for several months now.
I know, dude. I'm pathetic. I'm so hard.
You've been holding up like Joe Biden down in your basement for the pandemic.
I'm telling you, bro.
How have you been?
I'm wonderful, man. How are you guys? Everything good? Life's good?
Everything's good, man. Yeah, not too bad.
You guys heard any good jokes lately?
No, haven't. Moving on. Yeah, man. So everything's been good for you.
Yeah, man. It's been good. It's been real good.
Nice. You've been staying pretty busy, obviously, man.
Man.
Tell me about this past year. Let's start there.
Wait, does this year count?
Nah.
All right.
But for you, it does.
Man, it's been good. I don't know. It's been humbling as hell, honestly, man. I've been buried in work, and I'm really excited. I stepped into a new world, from what I was doing, and now I'm just grooving, man. I'm in a good groove. I'm just trying to make it happen, and I'm really, really stoked, man. I couldn't be happier, and I just, making new relationships, great relationships, and meeting new people every day, and people that really appreciate my craft and my art, and I feel like I'm really appreciated, and I just want to keep it going. I want to keep the momentum going and just stay as positive and focused as I possibly can, and make sure the 2 girls at home are fed, and catch a few laughs before I take a dirt nap.
Nice. So to catch everybody up for the listeners out there, Joseph is a musician, DJ, drummer, all-around artist. His main day gig is doing something very unique to the community, but certainly not unique to the craft itself. It's been around for, hundreds of years, I guess.
Yeah,
maybe
for sure.
At least a couple hundred years. He's
big shoes to fill.
That's right. Hand-painted letter sign, basically a sign painter.
Yeah, I'm a sign painter.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about that, man. How did the passion for sign painting come in the picture for you?
It's kind of funny. Like, I always kind of knew about it and always paid attention to like old signs and just walking around and ghost signs and stuff that have been around for a million years. And I went to design school and studied design and and art.
Whereabouts?
UNCG. I went to UNCG, and I guess design kind of led me to it. But I focused more on a DJ career for a long time. It kind of just happened so quick with that, and
Did that sort of evolve in college, or were you already thinking through that?
No, that started actually in college for sure. I was very interested in high school and stuff, and I was into the hip hop scene and the rave scene and stuff like that, and it just kind of always loved it, and then it just kind of trickled into like me learning how to be a turntablist and started playing clubs, and one thing led to another, and I just started getting booked left and right, and it became a full-time thing.
Nice.
So the design field kind of went on the back burner, but I always I created all my own flyers, I did all my own marketing, I did my own drawings, I did all my own stuff. So every flyer that I did for all my shows was hand, printed or screen printed or designed or drawn by me. So I always had my hand in design, no matter how I looked, no matter how I was doing it. But I fell into sign painting on accident. I had a girlfriend of mine, Lauren Ramirez, a real good friend of mine. She runs Kirkus down the street. She's a top tier jeweler. She's absolutely amazing. And she asked me to do a sign for her, and I did it. And I quickly realized, damn, there's got to be a better way to do this. And I just went down the damn rabbit hole. I bought every single book you can possibly buy. I took a workshop from Mike Myers. Mike Myers out of Minneapolis area, Minnesota, and went to New York and took another class, and it kind of just trickled down. I just kept finding more and more material and more things, and just videos and books and pieces, and studying and touching and feeling every sign I saw and staring at it and taking photographs. And I'd be somewhere with my wife, and she's like, God, I know she hates me because I stop at every sign and take a picture. And the little ones like, why are you always taking pictures of every sign? It's just because it's just reference. I was just started finding a reference and buying books with just say if I'd buy a.
So you would take pictures of your own signs? You're saying?
No, other people's signs.
Yeah.
Stuff from old sign painters. I just pay attention to the trade. And I just kind of just like I said, look at them. I study it. I look how and I notice the flaws and stuff, but I love the flaws. The flaws are amazing. It's like a tattoo. No tattoo is perfect. Mm-hmm. No sign is perfect, and it's done by hand.
It adds that sense of character too.
It does, and it's beautiful. I think it's a utilitarian art. I think it's it's gaining momentum. It's becoming a pretty big trade there, but it's becoming people's hobby, and this is not a hobby to me now. It's my life. It's what I do. It's what I do every day. I study it. I look at it, and I read every book, and it's what I do. And I mean, I'm humbled every day because it's been, like you said, it's been around for hundreds of years, thousands of years. People have been drawing their names and stuff forever, and I got big shoes to fill. I want to be great like them. You know what I mean? But it's like
are there heavy hitters out there that everybody knows about, like Mount Rushmores of sign painting?
For sure, and a couple of them are not cool, man. They're just they're very ornery. A lot of the old timers, they won't give you a time of day.
Oh, really?
They don't like sharing their trade. They don't like sharing because they think people just I understand
because they don't get they feel like those people don't get it.
They cheapen it. They think they're cheapening what they've learned, and they went through the ringer and learned everything, and they went they basically just like trials to become sign painters, years and years of beating themselves up and down, covered in paint, this and that, finding the shades. It's like, and there's some people like myself, like I'm not talented at all. I have no talent, but I'll work harder than you so I get the talent.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a naturally talented person. I'm busy because I work harder than everybody else, and it just comes a time. You know what I mean? I used to promote a bunch of graffiti writers, and some of them weren't good artists, but they would practice and practice and practice and practice, and they got so damn good.
Yeah.
And now a couple of them are like top tier tattooers and top tier artists. And when I first met them, they were horrible. They couldn't even draw a straight line.
Yeah.
But just they put so much work into it, and that's what I do. I just put so much work into it, and I appreciate the trade, and I think there's a lot of people that are getting involved in it, but they don't appreciate it. They're trying to, kind of half-ass the thing, and I'm not perfect by no means. Sometimes I take, I cut corners, but I quickly realized you cut corners sometimes. It's a stupid way. You need to go back and you got to redo it.
That's probably pretty typical of any art form. Now you're also pretty much a world traveler that I discovered a couple of years ago. Before the pandemic, you were rolling up all around Asia,
I have a damn
Africa,
issue,
Europe.
Yeah, man. I did it hard. I lost my grandmother, who was my best friend, and
how long ago was that?
Like 7 years ago or something like that. And You know, I always wanted to go somewhere, and then after she passed, I was like, you know, there's a whole world out there, and you know, what am I going to end up and like talk about what I want to do? And I just started doing it. She left me, you know, I don't know, like a couple $1,000 or something like that, and I bought a plane ticket, and I got addicted, and I just started buying plane tickets. I was hitting like 4 different trips a year, hitting like 6-7 countries a year.
Right.
I went nuts. I hit like 35 countries in like 4 years.
Off of a couple $1,000s.
Well, I have this problem, man. I'm addicted, but like I find the cheapest flights I possibly can.
Right.
So I suck it up.
Yeah.
I sit in the worst seat.
You give me the feeling that you're kind of a completist.
Oh man, I found flights to, you know, Paris at $300, Thailand for $500, and that's why I'll hop on them. I grab one bag, I stay in a hostel or I stay in an Airbnb, and the whole trip doesn't cost me nothing. It's costing me more money to go to Myrtle Beach than me to go to Thailand.
Yeah.
And when I'm there, I live like them. I grab a cup of coffee, I walk around, I eat street food. It's not like I'm living lavish, you know. And I drink beers that they drink, and you know, I eat the food that they do, and I end up, you know, getting sick every time I travel. You know what I'm saying? I've had Montezuma's revenge in every single country I've been to.
So tell me about, you know, since you've become such a passionate lover and maker of sign painting, what is it that you've discovered as you've gone around the globe in terms of how they've treated, you know, a lot of the signage that you've seen around towns?
It's weird because, you know, a real big hub for sign painting, especially, well, Paris has a ton of beautiful gold script and gold leaf. London has a ton of beautiful, you know, beautiful work too.
Yeah.
There's a different thing in London. They bring their drop shadows to the left.
Right.
And a lot of people a lot of people don't know that, but here we drag them to the right. And I always drag my drops to the left. And it's just something I've always done. Even when I painted graffiti, I always brought my drop shadows to the left. And I found out that that's how they do it in London. That's how they do it in England. And, you know, but, you know, there's a lot of weird, like, you know, signage all over the place. Like, you know, there's like really cool, like hand-painted signs of Vietnam or Thailand or, you know, or Cambodia. There's all like really cool, you know, caricatures and writing and signs. But, you know, there's a lot of stuff's been there for a million years, and people take a lot of pride in it. And, you know, even like going to like places like, and I'm not trying to tell you everywhere I've been, but, you know, places like Rome and stuff like that. And you pay attention to like how the craftsmen were, like, you know, everything from like, you go into the most beautiful church you ever seen. You know, and I'm not a religious person, but you can't take away from, you know, craftsmen in there. You know, the woodworkers, the gilders, but you watch and look.
Well, they had the best of the best.
Oh my God, everything is so perfect, and it just makes you want to be like, and you know, you're doing a dopey letter on a, you know, on a window, and you're like, God, these people like murdered it, like thousands of years ago, and like it just makes you want to be better. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I think there's an appreciation for it, you know, and there's appreciation for the United States, and you know, a lot of blue collar cities are really, you know, really appreciate it. There's great sign painters all over North Carolina, but people don't know about them because they're all dead.
Right.
And I think it sucks because, you know, there's no documentation. You know what I mean? The only place that sold, you know, sign painting stuff in this city was Askew Taylor, and they're gone. Yep. And he's not even around. There's no place to get it anywhere around here anymore. No sign shop. Nobody sells it all. Yeah. And the last place that there wasn't any sign paint, I bought it all from him. I bought every single can from him.
So what do you have to do? So there's probably only a few different shops around town that actually, or around the country that sells. Yeah, I mean, you basically have to order it, right? There's
a couple different brands, you know. There's Ronin, which is real good. You have to order from them direct, and they make really good paint. There's One Shot, which is the classic paint, but if you get a hold of the good cans, the ones with the lead, which people get rid of their collection, sometimes you'll find it. There's a couple jokers around this town that are old sign painters. They won't come up off their paint, but they're not even painting. And I've tried to offer them money for it, and they just won't. I'm like, what are you doing with it? You're just sitting there dying. I can use it. Right. And it's all leaded stuff too. It's a good stuff.
Right.
You know, the reds are different, the yellows are different. But then there's another stuff called Alpha. What's it called? Alpha Enamel? Alpha. I think it's called Alpha 6 paint. And you know, they're good for what they are. They're newer company. I think it doesn't dry the same way as the other stuff. I'm used to the other stuff. And I have a ton of it because like I bought a shop. So I have all these funky colors. I'm going to have to go through my pink stage. I'm going to get a painting where I have like every magenta and pink you possibly can have. But
yeah, well, before we get off of the topic, though, what do you is there a town in particular or a village or a city that you've been to around the world that you were most sort of enamored by their love or craft of sign painting?
It had to be London, man, honestly.
It really was, yeah.
Yeah, London, man. You walk through, you look at the tattoo shops in London. Madrid, too, has some cool stuff. Like, I think the thing was cool, like, so for instance, London has these beautiful plate glass, like, storefronts, like tattoos, and they're all done in reverse, and their drop shadows are like, you know, they're like, where the light hits, you know, they kind of have different colors, different trends, you know, like, so, you know, if it hits top left, you know, there's like different dark, like light magenta, dark magenta, kind of like hits a different way. They'll like soften them up, and then like the gold leaf, and they'll use these blues, and they're really beautiful. Like the glass plates in London are beautiful. The storefronts in Barcelona are really nice. There's certain like a neighborhood called El Gatic, the Gothic neighborhood, and it's got really beautiful gold leaf around there. I'm trying to think, like Mexico City's got some beautiful stuff but it's different. It's a different style. It's like Latino, like taqueria style stuff where everything's got like, you know, bright blue, yellow drop, or red, yellow drop, and it's like doesn't even look like they like planned it out. Just like they just freestyle everything. Like I don't, you know, like it's kind of wild. And they draw these caricatures like it'll be like a taco or Rico's taco, and it's just super like elementary, but it's so perfect and so amazing. Sao Paulo has great stuff. They do all that hand stuff, but they do them with sponge brushes, and they have a different. It's all latex enamel, but there when they mix paint, this is kind of a cool thing. So the way the walls are in Sao Paulo, they suck up paint. So they buy this latex, and you basically get white cans of latex, and you squeeze like a color inside of it. So you make your own color home. So you can make like different bottles of pigments. So and they use all foam rollers, but they do these foam rollers and these beautiful letters that are like just super straight, but they're rounded, so everything's rounded perfectly. So they'll like press on them and they'll sponge them out, and it's really neat. So Sao Paulo has a lot of cool stuff. Rio has some cool stuff, like I've been to the favelas in Rio, and they do it too. Like all the signage is done really cool.
Somebody I actually just interviewed a letter artist named Jason Karn last week, actually, and he was telling me about there's this particular, I can't remember what the name of the style is.
It's called Pisha.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about.
I guess they're painting. They do like these posters, but then they also do this paintings on like buses or vehicles and stuff, and it's like really beautiful and ornate.
You're talking about in Argentina?
Oh, maybe it's Argentina. Yeah,
that's called Filantito.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Filantino. See, in Brazil, it's called pichação, which is it's like Nordic writing. It's like very similar to a Philly hand style. Okay, but it's very. You should look it up. It's called pichação.
How you spell it? Do you know?
Pixachao. I think pisha.
Oh, it's like a
yeah. That's what it is right there. And that's a style of writing. It's called ledgering.
Oh yeah, it does look very like almost like Viking or almost like petroglyphs or something like that.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. And the way they line them up, they climb on each other's shoulders and.
Which be on the mic.
Oh, sorry. They climb on everybody's shoulders or they climb down the buildings, and they're called pichadoras. And that's called ledgering. That's a cool style. But I think it's called Filantino, which is a Argentinian style. It's a scroll style.
Yeah. But
there's a thing in India too called Horn OK Please, which is really cool. You should check that out. It's a type of writing in India. That's a sign painting writing in India that's beautiful. And they do these buses in India, and they're so sick. And it's all hand painted. I think it's called Horn OK Please. Or Please OK Horn.
Horn OK Please.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And they're beautiful, like hand-painted stuff.
Whoa. Okay, yeah, that's really awesome.
They do these buses, and they do these crazy, like, convex letters and beautiful drops and all these, like, beautiful, like, and they're super colorful.
Yeah. For everybody really listening, it's literally the English words, 3 English words, horn, OK, like literally the 2 letters, and then please.
Yeah, it's super cool. There's a cool book on that, which, you know, I got a copy of that book, which is really rare.
Nice.
It's put out by PH or something like that.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm a psycho, man. I'm like I said, a lot of this stuff is all just reference.
Right.
Like I see something to get into, and I go down the rabbit hole, bro. Like, and I mean, dude, I go down the rabbit hole with everything. It's crazy, but it's like reference. You know, I buy every single book I possibly can see, and if it relates to something, what's it's done done by hand, then I buy it, and then there's going to be some kind of reference in there, that I can like find some kind of like, it's something that inspires me, a colorway or the way they do a drop, because you can't. Everything's been done. You know what I'm saying? Everything's been done, but it's not. You can eat cornflakes every day, but dude, there's Frosted Flakes out there. There's all other stuff out there, and you're like, you just get inspired by different flavors and different stuff from all over the world.
New stuff and different, new stuff to put in the toolbox.
Dude, it's like there's a cool book too called, which is off the sign painter tip, but there's a book called Flip the Script, which is really cool, and it's got different hand styles from all over the country: Chicago hands, SF hands, New York hands, Philly hands, like Midwest hands, and there's different styles like of writing. It's the same with different styles of sign painters, man. All the different sign painters all over the country and the world, and it's pretty cool. And there's different types of leafers, and there's different type of gilders, leafers. It's humbling as hell. It's so humbling. I feel like I'm such a dork, man. Like,
no, it's good stuff. Talk to us about the different kinds of what's a gilder, for example.
Well, I don't know if that's the right word for it, but like gilding is gold leafing. There's transfer leaf and there's loose leaf. There's also etching and all sort of stuff. It's basically laying thin sheets of gold onto either glass or onto hard, kind of like that you want to put on wood, or like I've done hot rods where you have to it's called an oil gild, and you transfer the leaf on the side of a hot rod, and then it's called engine turning, where you turn it like old fire engines. How they're real brilliant when they hit a certain light. It's called engine turning.
Okay.
It's just laying. It's the same thing as sign painting. Same kind of like thing, but it's not. It's like a whole different game, and it's so difficult to learn. It's expensive to learn, and
I think I saw you doing a little bit of gold leafing when I came to your shop about maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah. I was doing something
for Trophy, right?
Yeah, I did do something for Trophy. I've done a few things for them.
But it seemed like a totally different. Like it's actually like it's a tangible material that you cut around almost, right? It's not like a paint.
No, it's called size. It's basically glue. There's
okay.
Size is it's like a glue. That was a transfer leaf. That's an oil gild. It's an oil size, and there's fast size and slow size. You can mix them both to make a in between size. Slow size, which takes a lot longer to dry and holds tack a lot longer, becomes a lot more brilliant, has more brilliant of a shine. Then sometimes just the nature itself and wind or whatever, you have to use a fast size. There might be a lot of debris in the air, and you run a fast size. It's not as brilliant. It's but you have to wait till things tack. That's what that is. It's basically you take a transfer on a piece of tissue paper and you transfer it onto the size.
Okay.
So you paint the size on, and then you basically put the leaf on once it's to tack, and then you burnish it. And once you burnish it, it loosens all the gold off, and then you basically.
What does burnish mean? Sorry.
Burnish means basically like cleaning it. It means cleaning, but also pressing it against, make sure it's like burnished, like kind of shining it up.
Okay.
And you use a brush or to clean all the stuff, and you burnish it. You can also, like, once you get transfer leaf down, you can press on it, and keep pressing on it the back with a cotton ball, and that'll burnish it too. You can do cotton balls real fast, like if they're like good cotton balls, like not the kind you buy at the grocery store, but like good cotton balls, you can do them fast. It's a whole. I mean, it's like I'm going like. But then there's water size, which is mixing with gelatin caps, and basically you put size down, and then it's loose leaf, and you basically run loose leaf onto a window, and then it tightens on.
Wow.
And then then you paint behind it in reverse, and it's called backing it up. Oh, and then you clean it. So you put a pattern on, or you pounce it or whatever. Put a pattern on, then you back it up, and then you clean the alcohol with like a denatured alcohol or whatever, and you clean it off, and then you have the image on the other side, and that's when it's super shiny. But you can mix oil gilding and water gilding together to give, I think it's called a Boston gild, which you have two different tones of gild, which is like a matte gild and a shiny gild, and then you can outline it with black or reds are really good.
So when you do that mix like that, does that give it a specific visual?
Yeah, sometimes the difference, like sometimes people what they do is they'll do a matte inside, and they'll do a super super brilliant outline, or they'll do it vice versa, or they'll do in convex, like so you have the convex letters where you want them to look like a 3D, they'll do a matte, and But sometimes they mix different metals too. There's copper, there's variegated leaf, which is kind of wild. There's, white gold, there's lemon gold, there's silver, which is heavier. It's a whole other world. And I'm
That's what I was going to say.
It's something that takes a long, like if you're doing it every single day, then you get really good at it. I don't do it every single day.
Yeah.
There's people out there.
It's probably difficult here still to get those kind of variations in a town like Raleigh, North Carolina.
Oh,
right?
I have to order my stuff from England. I have to
But not only that, but just also the demand, right? You got to deal with like cost. You got shipping. You got to get the supplies, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But also just to get somebody to buy into it. I mean, so if you don't mind me asking, I mean, how do you get? So obviously, hand painted signs are becoming more and more popular, as we've kind of alluded to earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
But sign companies over the past few decades obviously have leaned heavily, almost 95%, with vinyl lettering. That's really been the thing. So how do you go to a client that doesn't know that it's specifically cool to do?
I haven't had to yet.
Yeah.
I really haven't had to. It's all come to me.
Yeah.
Because I also work with great designers. Like I work with you guys, and I work with Paul and Josh and all these other dudes, and they bring the work to me. They're like, they sell it because they know their clients appreciate it. Their clients want to be in a BuzzFeed list, so they get BuzzFeed quality.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Anybody can put vinyl down. It's patience, but there's no talent in it. And it's crazy. They charge the same amount of money as I charge, but they also have dumb overheads. They get these huge rolling and Graphtec machines.
Right.
They got to weed it out, and they pay some kid $10 an hour to go out there and put some vinyl on a window. And it's
That was me.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, make your money, go do your thing. I'm on my own lane.
Yeah.
Respect what I do. And the thing is, they'll be like, "No, that's outdated." No, it's not outdated. I'm busy, and people appreciate what I do. And I'd rather
people still actually really say that it's outdated.
My God, it's because there's so many dopey people out there in this world. But no, they're good for them. You know what I mean? The thing is, It doesn't cost them anything to do that. It doesn't cost. Same thing as I buy a can of paint. A can of paint costs me $50. I could run 1 million windows with it.
Yeah.
But it also takes time. I have to get the design together because I am a designer by trade. So it's like I work in thirds. Third the designer, third is mine, a third is they already have the branding. So it's like break it up and whatever. But they also these sign companies don't have designers. They just have run of the mill dudes. They're running on these.
Most of the stuff is already
what it
provided. I used to, just FYI, I've worked at probably 2 or 3 different sign companies like way early in my career. Before I even had a career, actually, just like straight out of college and stuff like that.
And I did too. I did too.
But that's true. They usually had what they would call designers, but for the most part, it was very, very minimal. Most of the artwork came from the companies who provided the work for them.
For sure.
And all they were doing is really just kind of prepping it to be, cut on a CNC router or cut on vinyl and stuff like that.
That's all they're doing. They just know. They know the machines. They know how to set it up, and there's nothing wrong with. I mean, hey, man,
of course,
whatever. If that makes you happy, that's cool.
Yeah.
But it's like sometimes I'll roll up on a job and they're like putting vinyl on one part of it, and I'm painting. They're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, and it's so funny because the guys that run those sign companies are old sign painters, like the old timers that are there. They just don't talk about it. Like, yeah, I used to do that.
Oh
like,
man.
I've met a ton of those dudes.
Most of the owners that I worked with, they were always or was like like a manager working in the back. He always would show. There was always somebody who would roll out there all the photographs of like all the classic, just beautiful stuff that was like not just the hand painted stuff, but also like stuff that was cut on like redwood. Like just beautifully painted, just super ornate,
hand routed, like gold leaves in the center, beautiful work, like handmade craft, like masters.
What's the big magazine that was real popular? Was it just like Signcraft?
Yeah,
Signcraft.
It's still around. It's still around today, but I can't.
That's where you'd see all those signs. You're like, where are these signs at? That they're already. It's always on the cover of the magazine.
Oh, for sure. Then the thing is, like, now it's all like plastic products, and then like there's like a little section, and it'll interview like one sign painter, and it's like it's like 2 pages. It's not even worth getting.
He's 87 years old,
for sure. but dude, thing is like he might be shaking like crazy because he's been drinking his face off for 1 million years. But then as soon as he puts his hand in a brush, it's like steady as hell.
Right.
I don't know, man. It's like I said, it's so humbling, and I'm so stoked to be a part of it, and like having getting respect from like. Just getting respect from like other sign painters and making friends, and it's like it's like a healthy competition, and there's no like animosity or like, fuck this guy. He did that. No, it's all cool, man. You know what I'm saying? And like, there's room for more people. The thing is, but there's a lot of people that ask me all the time, like, hey, show me how to do this. No, you're going to go, no, I'm not going to. I'm
really?
Not. No, for sure. I mean, like, it's not that I don't want to share it, but it's like, I'm not going to, it's like, okay, hey, show me how to play drums. Right. Hey, show me how to be a designer right now. I want to see your, you got to do some research. Because if you really love something, you're going to find a way. If you really do love something, you're going to find a way to like do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like, no matter how, like, dude, I might be done with this in 2 years. I might like, I'm tired of this, man. I want to become a metal detector. I just want to find stuff all over the world in my metal detector, which I've been doing. I've been looking up. That's one of my rabbit holes.
I could totally see you doing that,
dude.
man.
I'm telling you, bro. Look up on the internet, man. Like World War II finds.
Just hanging out in like Carolina Beach,
for sure. And magnet fishing,
scooping up quartz watches,
dude. Magnet fishing. Go look at magnet fishing in Amsterdam.
Yeah. All right.
Game over, bro.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm telling you. I'm gonna find something else. But I just enjoy it, man. I enjoy being creative, and if I can make a living and make sure like the girls are good and catch a few laughs, I'm good, man. I feel good, and and it's like I said, I'm not where I want to be. You know what I mean? Like I'm getting there. I'm getting to the point where I feel good, but it's. I just wish people don't understand it too. Like you said, people don't know it's even there. But the people that do know it's there appreciate it. And I'm not a mural artist. I do murals sometimes, but I'm not a muralist. I'm a sign painter, and that's what I do. There's a big difference between that, and there's a precision matter. There's a understanding of the craft and the trade, and I appreciate the craft and I love the trade. And like mural artists are not walking around touching every sign and taking every picture, and their wife isn't going, come on, let's go.
Right.
While I'm sitting there, no, this is gold leaf, honey. Look at this. It's beautiful. Come on, we gotta go. But look at this. And she's like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
So you're the same. You're about the same age as me. We're both in our 40s.
Bro, 30, bro.
Yeah. Okay. Right. That's what I said. I said 30. I got a little.
I just turned 43, man. I started a new career at 40 years old.
Yeah. So you've been, doing that in your 40s, right? And obviously, you get to a certain point where, like me as an illustrator, it's not so much like with being a designer on a computer, but for me, when I'm drawing something, I'm hunched over. My neck is totally jacked up. What about for you? I mean, is it you're hunched over? You're getting up on like scaffolding. I mean, how is that?
It's tough. I am sore anyways. I'm very nervous. If anybody's ever met me, I have a twitch. I have a couple ticks. So I'm always twitching my shoulder, blinking my eyes or something. It's kind of like, it's just something I've always had. And it makes me sore sometimes. It hurts my shoulder sometimes, but I stay pretty active. So I do get sore, but I play baseball, a couple leagues, and I ride my bike or I skate. So I'm like I'm trying to stay active, even though I'm getting a little like COVID weight. I've still been like staying active, but I do get sore. My arms get sore. I try to stretch. Sometimes I'm in certain positions. I'm learning to like, hey, dummy, put some knee pads on, or hey, dummy, lay this way, or hey, raise your ladder a little bit or move it. Don't be lazy and lean over because you're going to hurt yourself. But my arm, if I don't paint for like a week or so and then I go back to painting, it's sore. But I also rest it. I use a maul stick, so I rest my hand a lot. I catch myself squeezing stuff. I don't know. Do you ever do that with a pencil? Like when you're drawing, you grab super hard. I do that. So when I'm painting, I catch myself squeezing stuff, and I have to loosen up and loosen my hands up because I could see it sometimes. Like my hands will hurt, and so I try to stretch my hands and try to stretch my body. But I stay active. Like saying like I can't walk today. My knees hurt because I was playing baseball. I'm acting like I'm 18 years old, but I'm in my 40s playing. Stealing bases like a psychopath. But then ollieing down stuff like, dude, what is wrong with you, man? Like, you got to chill out the skateboard stuff. And like, my wife's like, see, what's wrong with you, man? Your knees. It's like, so I try to stay active, man. Yeah. But I can tell, like, going up and down the ladders all the time, I can tell it takes a toll on you, man. It makes you tired. By the end of the day, man, you're beat. I'm beat. This is a hard ass job. It's a hard ass. I'm a blue collar worker, man. This is straight up like, but I try to stay active. I try to like make sure my wrists are good and like try to, because, my wife's a violinist, and she's
She's a teacher too, right?
she
Music teacher?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
She teaches orchestra. She's so stupid. She acts like she isn't talented as hell. She's so talented.
Yeah.
She's such a talent.
My
She's
girl's like that
yeah.
too.
She's such an amazing violinist, but she teaches. She used to teach at Philharmonic Youth Association, and then she teaches Powell Elementary. She got Teacher of the Year last year.
Oh wow.
She also,
that's right. Yeah, I saw that.
She also works at a restaurant too, but just because we like to be able to go on trips and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
extra
We need a new
cash.
lawnmower that I got to mow the lawn. I got to
Yeah.
see we have money for it. But no, it's and then she has really bad carpal tunnel. So she.
It's my biggest fear, man.
Yeah, no, and I think like I said, squeezing stuff's too hard, and I think it's because of the way her wrist over it. So she has taught me some kind of stretches and stuff like that. But I try to keep my hands, whatever. But like, dude, my biggest fear is falling off a ladder. If I fall off a ladder and blow myself completely out, then what do I do? But I'm like a stunt man, dude. I sometimes I look at myself and I'm like, what the hell is wrong with me?
Right.
Like,
Can't do that forever.
no,
bro.
dude. I was painting this building. I swear to God, like a couple months ago, and I was like, I hope OSHA doesn't hear this, but I was hanging off a lift, dude. I was like 1 foot on the lift, one hand up, trying to reach this thing. If OSHA pulled up, it would have gotten like the whole project would have gotten shut down.
Right. Yeah.
But it's like, it's what it is, man. Just
So just on that note, though, to ride that a little bit. So why don't you get like an apprentice who's like, scrappy 22-year-old who's ready to go up on the rafters, and you just kind of grunt and point, the way it's supposed to be?
I'm glad you asked this. The reason I don't get an apprentice is because I can't trust anybody. And the reason I can't trust
you got trust problems here.
No, just I don't think that everybody that I've had help me doesn't put the same amount of effort or same amount of pride.
But that's what an apprentice is for.
I also can't stop what I'm doing to teach somebody how to do it right now because I'm still learning and I have to stop myself sometimes to do stuff. I also can't have somebody that doesn't have thick skin. I'm also working around, foremans and GCs and all this stuff. And I'm in environments sometimes where like I hear stuff sometimes I don't really want to hear, but I have to put my head down and I just got to go to work. I can't. A lot of young people just don't know. And I'm not saying all, but I just can't have someone like
saying there's a lot of snowflakes in the world.
No, just there's people. Just it's not even that. It's just people. I just don't want someone like. I just need someone that has some backbone. I need someone that's like. I have a few people that I entertain. That I have. There's some people that there's a couple older guys that are friends of mine that are super talented, and I want them to help me, but I just don't have the money to pay them right now.
Yeah.
Once I get to that point, they're definitely going to be the guys on it.
Okay.
The young people, they also like. It's not about that. It's like someone has to have real thick skin, because you do work around environments around these, people. So, you work around people that are not as they're kind of crass and stuff like that, and like. I can't. You gotta understand. Like you can't stomp off a job, and they're just they no one's. I'm not.
So there are people that you will eventually pull in.
100%. And I also there's the people that I have asked that they want. The people that have asked, like they haven't come at me correctly either. Like the first thing you do if you show up with a cup of coffee or a beer. If you want to.
You heard it here first, folks.
Seriously, that's just out of respect. If I'm going to go to an old timer and I'm going to ask him for a question, I'm coming with lunch. Right. I'm buying you lunch. I'm buying you dinner. I'm buying you beer. I'm showing up with something you like.
Anything else that they should be?
Nah, man. Just
couple shirts.
Also, it's also just about taking pride, man. There's also like my friend Jackson actually used to help me out, and he was great. He's humble dude, and he took a job. He's he does beehives now. He's the one dude that I loved having help, and he's really talented, great artist, and he'd help me out, but he couldn't do it all the time because he had another job, and I'd throw him cash, and and he'd help me out. There's also the people that just don't have a hand. There's people. It's like here's the thing too. Also, like.
That was developed. I mean, you had to do that too.
Yeah, but I also had a hand in general before that, though. I always had a steady hand with drawing and stuff like that. So I always drew. I mean, I'm not saying I'm great at it, but I know how to draw. There's people out there that, like, for him, go to tattoo world. There's people that are so talented at art, that are blows all the way, but they can't tattoo. Right. And there's people that are not the greatest art, but they know how to tattoo so good because it's just the way they know how to lay the ink, lay a solid line, and know how to put down a good ass tattoo. Yeah, it's like that. And the thing is, you look at all these tattoos. I dare some of these people that you talk to any tattooer, talk to any of the tattooers, ask them right now if they're taking apprentices. No way they're not taking apprentices because it's oversaturated and people don't take the same amount of pride as they did when they learned. And it's not that I'm not ready yet, and I'll take someone to help me out, but I can't teach somebody because I need to become. There's some things I need to learn before I
you
get.
You still need to be better.
Yeah, I know that. I know I do, but I just feel like people, and it's not all young people. So I'm sounding like an old man right now, but I just feel like that people. I mean, there's so much talent. There's so many people, but I think a lot of people are not used to working with their hands on now, and they're very digital.
Yeah.
And like I grew up in a hand world that got into digital, went back to hand. You know, and like.
Well, that's what it seems.
That's weird. I don't know if that's weird. Like
no, I get it. It does seem like that is more prevalent now. Now, one thing that has become pervasive as I've interviewed a lot of people that work in various mediums. Now I'm speaking with you, doing hand painted signs, mural artists. Large-scale visual artists.
Yeah.
There is this sort of like merging of many mediums, people coming from different lanes, merging into various sort of like environmental arts, right?
Yeah.
So it seems to me, from my perspective, that there are a lot of people who are falling in love with more of the handcrafted stuff.
Yes.
That seems to be the case for me.
I think it's really cool, and I think like people have fallen in love with like chain stitching and making rugs and all kinds of cool stuff. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people out there that. There's a lot of cool people out there that I would definitely take on, but they're like, I just
Can
haven't
I call
had.
you, man? Is that possible? Can I try?
Please, come, please, anytime. I mean, I did like I'm not too proud, and I hate to say that, like, I didn't mean to say that, like, like, I just think that people don't have thick skin. I just think, like, I go sometimes in these environments. I don't know if it's just because the way I grew up. I grew up as a knucklehead, and I grew up in, like, a northern house. And
You grew up in Philly, right?
I grew up in North Jersey, actually.
Oh,
I lived
Jesus,
in Philadelphia.
I'm sorry, man.
Trust me. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. It was great growing up, but you couldn't pay me to go back. But I think that people don't have the thick skin that they should. Like, I'm a very, open-minded person, and I think the world is nuts right now. And I feel like I don't have, there's too many. I just need someone that's like, just want to work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I could feel a certain way about certain things, but I just want to get my job done and go home and make sure my family's good.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I'm saying? And I have my own opinions and voice on what's going on out there in both sides and everything like that. And I'm a very, liberal and open-minded cat, but I also just don't have patience for someone that's going to like sit there and complain and bitch and complain about everything. I just want to get to work and get my job so I can go home. Well, I want to do the best job I possibly can so I can, one day someone's like, that's a special guest sign. Fucking love that thing. Yeah. Because that's what I'm doing. I'm walking around all these buildings and I'm like, damn, who the hell did that? And I'm looking up to these old timers and I want people to do the same. So I want to get my job done. I want to go home. I want to do the best fucking job I possibly can.
Yeah.
And catch a laugh before I take a dirt nap.
Yeah.
That's mine.
Nice. Before we start to round this out, man, do you have an ultimate project you'd love to get your hands on?
Yeah, man. Honestly, like I've had some projects that I cannot believe done. I painted a $7 million Porsche. I've painted hot rods. I've painted restoration projects. I painted tarmacs of the Army. The projects I want to get, and I don't know why they haven't fallen my way yet. Is I want to get some of the Pepsi and Coca-Cola restoration projects, the wall job projects. They're super easy to do. But they're like,
have you eyeballed a few like around the state and stuff like
that?
Yeah,
there's a couple of people that they're out there, and I'm kind of on a list to maybe get some in through a gentleman. He's a really nice dude. He's a great photographer too. Actually, he doesn't even realize he's a good photographer, but he shoots these really cool black and white photos. But
nice.
There's there's a lot out there, but there's like a granddaughter of one of the guys that used to do them, and she's getting a lot of the projects.
Wow.
The Coca-Cola stuff. I'd love to get some.
You
of
mean
them.
she's doing that now?
She's gotten a couple of them, restoration ones, but I know they're out there. And the thing is cool about Coca-Cola is like you can go to you call Atlanta, like the Coca-Cola headquarters, you can get any pattern from any year, from any ad, and they have all the colors ready to go. They know it, everything. Like everything's already dialed in 100%. So it's like a no-brainer. Like you just have to get it done. But it's like there's a few out there I want to get, and they have Coca-Cola is such a huge corporation. I mean, you sponsor the Olympics, you have money to pay my stupid ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'd like to get some of that stuff, and I'd like to get some like.
So it's
like
more
classic beer stuff, like this really beautiful classic beer stuff, and like I don't know, just the restoration stuff.
Yeah, restoration.
Yeah, I think that stuff's really cool. I'd love for some restaurants to really take on some gold leaf stuff, and like actually instead of putting these goofy gold stickers on here, I'd like to get in that. And I want to get into boat transoms. I want to get into painting the gold leaf in the backs of boats, like yachts and stuff.
What's transom? What does that mean?
I guess I think it's what's called transom, the back of a boat, where it says like, you know, Stinky's yacht, you know,
Right.
Myrtle Beach, whatever, whatever the fuck you call it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I love how you went straight to that.
you know, I've got crabs, Myrtle Beach, you know, like on the back, whatever. That's the name of my beach house if I get one. But anyways, so I just want to I think that would be a cool way to do it. But like, dude, I've had so many cool projects come up. You know, there's a lot of like really cool shit. And then,
I mean, would you ever want to like incorporate other like materials that maybe you're not necessarily, that's not necessarily your lane, like neon or?
Oh, 100%. I mess with. I do stuff with neon vendors all the time. My friend Danielle, my friend Nate, they used to work at all. They're part of Glassworks, and
nice.
Danielle, she moved their own stuff called Hex Neon, and they're both great people. And I've worked with them. We've side busted on projects, like I'll paint it and then they'll put neon on top of it. And they're both very, very talented and very cool people.
Yeah, I
and,
love the work they're doing.
They do good stuff, and I've done stuff with them. Neon's great. There's a lot of there's a lot of opportunities, and I think that like anything could be painted, and it's just paint. You know what I'm saying? Like I think there's a lot of opportunities. I think there's a lot of cool stuff. I honestly want to challenge myself on something big too. I want to challenge myself on something really, really big, but it takes it out of me. I had to push back a project this year. It was such a huge project, and I had to push it back. I also overbid too much, but
I'd love to see you do some work on like a really like a historic building that's like literally a high rise, like 30 stories. You know, something that you'd find in like. It's gotta be something like Winston-Salem or
there's some cool stuff like that. There's one in Durham. They did I think they did the Lucky Strike. Like I'd love to do a tower. I'd love to do one. But like I don't even know the first thing about scaling down on one of those, like scaffolding down on one. I mean, I'd have to figure all that out. Which you know, there's a lot of the stuff is cool, you know, but it's like so crazy. You can do such these big ladders where, you know, it's just so nuts, and there's so many different ways to approach it, and like, but there's like so many beautiful. Oh, sorry about that. There's so many like cool like ghost signs that it can be restored in the city, and like there's so many like really beautiful. If you walk around, there's so many cool things that could be redone. Yeah. But I don't know, like a lot of historic people, like there's so many rules, but this is like just stupid rules sometimes. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I just look forward to. I just want to paint everything. I want to paint everything. I made a goal to paint everything in the city in 5 years, and I did it in 3, and I want to keep painting. I just want to paint everything. That's all I want to do. Just put my hand down, my head down and paint. I want when my little girl's in her 30s or whatever, you know, and she's walking around, she's like, my dad painted that. He painted that. I had to sit outside of this stupid place, and he fed me McDonald's French fries. And I had to watch him paint this stupid building. I want her to do that when she's 50 and I'm dead. You know what I'm saying? I'm dead. I've already had my laughs and I took that nap. I want her to walk around and go, you know, my dad painted all this stuff. And that's my goal, is I just want to paint everything I possibly can do. And I want to stay as humbled as I possibly can. I want to make everybody happy. I want people to be stoked on my work. I want, you know, people to be inspired. I want people to just, you know, I'm part of this city. I'm not from here, but I'm part of the city. I am one of the people that's helping it grow. I helped it grow by throwing events and DJing, and now I'm part of it painting. And I cannot wait to paint your building. I cannot wait to paint your restaurant. I cannot wait to paint every fucking thing I could possibly paint, because that's all I want to do. You know, I just want to paint. I just want to paint. And I love it. I love every fucking bit of it. And I cannot wait to paint everything.
Dude, love talking to you, man.
I'm a psycho, man. I'm sorry, dude. I hope I made sense.
Tell people where they can find you online.
You can find me online, either surfing YouTube, going down the fucking rabbit hole. You can actually find me at Special Signs, SPCL Signs. That's on Instagram.
A lover of signs and a hater of vowels.
I couldn't afford them. And then if you want to dip into my personal life, you can find me at Special Guest, SPCL, GST. You can see all the stupid things I do, like go fishing and play baseball and stupid stuff and, whatever. You can also catch me on Facebook. I mean, I have a Special Signs account there. Website is in the process of getting built, so it's going to be specialsigns.com, but not yet. But hey, you can see me in the streets. Say hello to me. Give me a buzz. Give me a call. I love to hang out. If you have any ideas and you want to, I'm not saying I won't take apprentices on, but if you just want to hang out and get a cup of coffee and you got to ask me a question, I'm so down to hang out.
Nice.
I just can't take anybody on right now unless, they're 100% serious. But if you just want to hang out, catch a laugh, catch a beer, catch a coffee, catch some lunch, bring a coffee, hang out.
Awesome.
Tell me a good joke. Tell me a really good joke. I need a good joke in my life.
Joseph, great to talk to you, my man.
Good talking to you. Thank you guys for having me. Shit. All right.
Yeah, man. Have a good one. All right.
Yeah.
We'll talk soon.
Ciao.
All right. Later. Hey guys, this is Mike Rosado. We're just sitting here, Max and I, cutting the episode with Joseph, and we were thinking about how to place this next segment here, which was just basically Joseph and I riffing off of, just as friends getting together, talking about stuff, and we got into a really important topic that I had on my list to mention, but didn't until the end, and I thought it was pretty cool, so we kept it in. And basically, this is me asking Joseph about some of the street art that he contributed to in the wake of George Floyd's death and a lot of the protesting that was going on. It's really beautiful work. You can definitely check it out on his Instagram. So here's me asking about how that came about.
Every business told me what they wanted, and I painted it. I did it in my own style, how I thought it should have been done. I didn't get paid for any of that stuff. I did it all on my own. I took a week off or a week and a half of like my regular work and painted. I thought, there's a lot going on in the world. I don't agree with what's going on in the world. So this is the way I'm going to give back. I can't go out there and protest anymore. I did it in media rallies in the 90s. I couldn't go out there and protest, one, because I have a family and I just couldn't do it. And but that's how I protested in my own little ways, that I gave my talent and painted things on the walls. And
so you just met with basically the owners and
well,
said,
no, so Jeff from Royale, he's like, yo man, listen, like, will you paint this on the wall? I'm like, yes, I will paint it on the wall. I'll buy you dinner. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So my wife and I had our second anniversary in Moore Square Park, and he bought us dinner. So it wasn't like, we're just from my time. Something like that, I repainted that piece for him actually recently because he wanted it. Yeah. But then like Chris and Woody from Trophy were like, hey, can you paint our walls? I'm like, for sure. I got you guys. You guys are good to me. You give me a studio. Of course I'll pay for you. Now, well, I'll be happy to. I did reach out to the community one time because I was running out of good colors. Like, hey, can you guys help me out and whatever? I need supplies. I'm running out. And they helped me with supplies, and I bought brushes and, I wasn't asking for money. Like, I wasn't asking like so I can spend money, but they bought me paint. People brought me paint, and I bought brushes and stuff, which was, on my own terms. But no, I didn't make any money, man. I was excited. I was excited because people are, there's all different types of people,
contributing.
Yeah, it was cool, and it was cool to be a part of it. I didn't want to put up something that was not good. I had to put up something that was sharp and something that represented me. Yeah. Because it's just, I'm not going to half-ass it. I'm going to do it 100%. I'm going to do the best job I possibly can, and it represents me. If I'm a sign painter, and I'm not going to put up some dopey letters, I'm going to put something up nice.
Yeah.
So people are stoked about it.
That was the one thing that I thought was really, I had a feeling that those were actually your signs and not coming from something that somebody actually designed first.
No, they were all mine.
And,
they came with the words though, because I was like, I'm terrible at words, dude. I'm seriously not the smartest, and I could not come up with shirts, man. I'm like Ooga Booga, you know. I'm like a caveman. But, you know, like doing those was like, it was awesome. It was humbling, man. And I met so many cool people. I met, you know, how many people came by, but you know, there was a bunch of dipshits too that drove by and were like, brr, 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 and they're like, you know, with their Confederate flags, and I'm not feeling that, you know, I'm not feeling it. But I put like I said, I didn't lash back at them because what's the point? I put my head down and I painted, and I got my job done.
It just feels like that would be something that you'd be doing more and more. That's one thing that I wanted to kind of talk to you about was just this idea of like, you know, you got into street art. Street art was such a big sort of part of your life, not necessarily maybe being like, you know,
I was never a street artist.
No, but I'm talking about being a part of your life in terms of like culture, the music you were listening to, the people you were hanging out with.
Yeah.
And so the fact that you're, you know, a lot of the work that you're doing is coming from sort of like the commercial aspect, which is beautiful in and of itself, but it, you know, street art is a lot about self-expression and really kind of, you know, putting your own sort of self into it creatively.
I just felt like it's just what I had to do. You know what I mean? And like, listen, nobody did anything bad. Like everybody did cool stuff, even when it wasn't like something that I thought was good. It was still amazing to them, and that's what it makes. And that's awesome. Yeah. I'm glad. I thought it was cool. I thought it was the first time this city, honestly, even though it was like in the wake of some bullshit and that. It was in the wake of like some like terrible thing to happen, but it was beautiful. It felt alive. The city felt alive. It was colorful, man. It was cool. Like every big city you go to Richmond, smashed. You go to Minneapolis, smashed. You go to Philadelphia, smashed. And then Miami, Wynwood, smashed. And like it was the first time this city felt like a real city with like art everywhere. And you know, and they just pull the boards off. You know what I mean? It's just stupid. And it's like, God, now all these years they've been like, you know, fighting murals. Oh, we don't want murals. Now they're like, okay, let's get murals now. It's like, that makes no sense. It's like, now you like it. But it was cool. I met, like I said, so many people came up to me. They were so cool. And I met so many cool people while painting on every part of the spectrum, man. You know, like, you know, and so many people had so many cool things to say. And then, you know, like I said, there were so many dipshits that had some terrible things to say. And I just said, yeah, let's move along, man. I don't want to.
While you were actually working on it?
For sure, man. There's the Confederate flag, you know, rolling by, Trump, I'm like, whatever, you know, to each his own. Listen, that's what's cool about America. You wanna be on that guy's side? Cool. That's your opinion. Not my thing. That's cool. You wanna be on that side? Cool, whatever. I don't care. I just wanna paint. I have a feeling that's how I gave back. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care about it. If people want to be a certain way, that's your right to be a certain way. If you want to lash out at me for painting something that I think is cool, you know, what am I doing? I'm 40 years old. I'm going to go off the ladder and be like, burr, 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 and fight with you? No. Like, what's the point? So my little girl also posed in front of a bunch of them. It was cool. She would hang out. Like I said, that's the thing. She was hanging out in front of them. She was like, oh, God, can we go? Yeah. Can we go? Yeah.
You know, what's funny, though, is that the stuff that he was actually working on was, you can't even argue with what you were looking at. It was all positive thing, like light and love. Like who can really argue about that?
There was nothing that I was painting that wasn't positive. I just wanted to paint cool shit. You know, things were boarded up. You know, a lot of my friends' businesses are boarded up. I just want to paint cool shit in their businesses. And I'm happy I got to paint things and cool shit in their businesses. And like I said, I want to paint everything. That's all I give a shit about. I just want to paint because I like seeing people happy when I paint cool shit. You know, I've got some backlash from the stuff I painted downtown, which I really didn't understand and I didn't get. And some people wanted to say, you know, like people would pose in front of some of the pieces, and they were just happy couples, people in front of the pieces. But people would lash out about it and say, that's not what it's about. You know, it's people's interpretation of what it's about. Yeah. You know, people can say this song means this, but actually to them it means something else. Like, why am I going to hate on people, man? You know what I mean? Right. There's enough bullshit out there. There's enough hate in the world. What's the fucking point? You know what I mean? Like, especially being a creative, can we just all create and make cool shit? Like, seriously, we can all laugh and catch cool shit, catch a cold beer, you know, talk shit and have a laugh. And like, you know, like, I don't want to fight with you. I don't care. You know, why am I going to fight with you? Why am I going to fight with you? What's the point? Yeah. Like, I don't agree with all these people, but I don't want to fight. I'm tired of fighting. It's too much, man. Just grab it, paint something, you know, do something cool. Like, I don't know, do a kickflip.
Amen. Amen.
Catch a fucking laugh, man. Life, it's whatever, man. We're all gonna the fucking aliens are coming soon, and we're all done, bro. They're coming for everybody else first. You know what I mean? I'm kind of in tune with them. Goodbye. Cheers.
Cheers, man. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to the Pencil Pushers podcast. Follow us on Instagram at the Pencil Pushers Podcast for visual representation of our guest artwork, topics discussed, and anything else that contributes to the show. So be sure to subscribe, tell a friend, tell lots and lots of friends, become a leadhead, and we're out.